Howdy, shipmates. It's Patrick again. Welcome back to the Trekkie Gamer. Tonight we are going to start a kind of a recurring series. The next few vids are going to be me putting together a bunch of fan build personal material to kind of tide me over until some of the more official material comes out. Most of it is going to be for the 32nd century because I've kind of come to enjoy that era of Trek because it is just wide open, but there's not a whole lot of game material supporting it, so I'm going to have to do a lot of that myself. And since I do this YouTube thing, well, I got to document it somewhere, right? Okay, but this first one tonight is not going to be 32nd century or Discovery. Tonight is going to be the 25th century from Picard Season 3. Somewhere online, someone asked if there were stats for Dr. Crusher's little ship, the SS Eleos, from the first couple of episodes of Star Trek Picard Season 3. And there's really not. And I thought, well, now's the time to start figuring out some of the differences in ship construction between first edition and second edition, and test the backwards compatibility of some of this stuff, because we're going to be using Utopia Planitia to do some of this, because that's where the rules that they used for ship construction are. So first thing we got to do is see what information there is out there for the SS Eleos. So I already brought up Memory Alpha. So let's take a look there and see what we can see. We know its name, its registry number. That is a Phoenix class starship. I've already brought up in another window the Phoenix class and also the memory beta entry on the SS Eleos, since there is so little actual information excuse me, on the ship. But let's take a look and see what we can find out about it. And most of that's going to be background information, since there's was very little mentioned on screen. And most of this points to actually looking at the Phoenix class, so let's do that. Well, let's look at memory beta first, see if there's anything else there. No, it really doesn't tell us anything. So all the information we're going to get is going to be out of the Phoenix class entry. So let's get into that. So it was designed as a small rapid response vehicle to deliver medical supplies. Medical supplies. There we go. Engineering components, small personnel transfers, speed on a small scale. It was bigger and more robust as far as speed and range than a Danube class runabout. And here are some technical specs. Some vast differences in what it says are the maximum and cruising warp speeds, but that's okay. It launched in this particular ship launched in 2352. And for purposes of what we're going to do, we're just going to say that's the year the class was created, because there's not a whole lot of other information. So, with that being said, we'll come back to this if we need to. But let's take a look at what's going on in Utopia Planitia. Now, the ship rules start on page 58. So let's just go down the list here, get some of our notes that we need. We need to know what year it was launched. We've already said that it's going to be 2352. And that falls within the standard range for the Federation. It was created before the year 2400, so we can just ignore this. It's going to start with 40 system points if it was created in 2200. Since it's in 2352, that is 152 years or 15 more system points. So it's going to have 55 system points at the start if it was a scale 4 vessel. It's not. This thing is tiny. If you look back at the stats on Memory Alpha, it's 119.7 meters. For reference, it's about half the size of the NX-01 Enterprise. This is going to be a Scale 2 ship. And we've got precedent in the game for a Scale 2 ship. And we'll get to that in a minute. But when you're choosing scale, if it's below 4, you subtract system points. So we're going to remove 2 from the total number of system points. So it ends up with a total of 53. And then the next step is assigning those system points. So I'm just going to do that straight into my Microsoft Publisher template that I use. All right, and there's that. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. Zoom to page width. There we go. Okay, so this is a Phoenix class. And we established that it was launched in 2352. We'll get to that and all this stuff later. Let's get straight into, okay, but we also know that it is we also know from the second edition rules that it is also considered a compact vessel, which we will also get to later. There may be other traits we give it. But we're going to assume that this was a Starfleet vessel, but they made a lot of these things and put them out into the civilian community, because that was definitely the impression I got from the write-up. So we're going to clear most of this. So assigning system points, we are going to jump into my little Excel spreadsheet that I use sometimes because I don't trust myself to keep my math honest. Alright, so we've got 53 points. So this number right here needs to be 53 when we are done. So, if we just evenly distributed everything, there's our 53, but I don't think we're going to do that. Weapons, I know, are going to be relatively low because it's a very small ship, and weapons are not going to be its strong suit. So there's a couple of points right there that we can put into... We want to put something into computers because this thing is small and a lot of it's going to be automated. So we're going to want a lot of computer power, and we're going to want... we're going to want a good engines rating, because engines influences things like life support and some of the more important things that go along with that. So we want decent engines. And it's also supposed to be a pretty fast little ship. We're going to keep the sensors, but I think we want better comms for what it does. So we're going to drop the structure by one because it is a small ship, and we're going to boost the comms that way. And 10, 10, 10, 9, 8, 6. You know, guys, I think I am going to stop that there. So let's get back into the publisher document here. And comms were 10. Computers were 10. Engines were 10. Sensors were 9. Structure was 8. And the weapons were 6, because this is much less a combatant vessel as it is a transport. So it's got weapons for defense, but it is not... it is not its forte. Getting back into Utopia Planitia, we have assigned the system points. Now we're going to assign the department points. So let's do that right now. We don't need... I don't think... we are going to have much in the way of security. I like the engineering +1. I like the con +1. It's small. It's relatively agile. It's a quick response vehicle, but if Starfleet leans on anything, it leans on science. But it is also, yeah, I was going to say it's automated, so I don't think it's going to have, no wait, I think it is going to have some enhanced command because it is largely automated. So we're going to put a +1 into command. So there is the department setup for the Phoenix class. Command +1, con +1, and engineering +1. Again, because you want it to be relatively tough for your life support and such like. So, it's a 24th century vessel, and we saw that it had a ring phaser, so we're going to call this phaser arrays. Actually, technically phaser array. And since it's a scale 2 vessel, the tractor beam is only strength 1. But again, it's not necessarily what the thing is used for. Talents. Now, I've only seen one class 2, scale 2. For some reason, I am thinking in terms of FASA, where everything was class 1, class 2, class 27. You know, huge numbers to describe this, the size of the vessel. But this is Star Trek Adventures. We deal in scale. So let's get back into Acrobat and let's take a look at the one scale 2 vessel that I know of in this game so far, the Freedom class, which is found in the 2nd edition toolkit. Compact size, scale 2, and ours does not have torpedoes. It does not have any talents. And so every talent it gets is coming from either its mission profile or outside the or just, you know, assigned to it. It's going to wind up having 2 talents. But I like this notion of the frame itself not having any talents. So we're going to come down here. We're going to get rid of this bullet point. Whoops. Not quite what I had in mind. None, and we will hit the bullet point again because I actually want, there we go. And the special rules. Now this is a compact vessel. That rule is on page 196 of the 2nd edition core rule book. So we'll just put a page number there. And there is our space frame. There are the numbers. the weapons, special rules. That's a space frame. Now we're notable examples. Well, we've got a couple of them, and they're both mentioned in the Eleos, excuse me, the Phoenix class entry on Memory Alpha. So let's get back in there for a second. We've got the USS Fortuna, NCC 63189. So I am just going to copy that directly because I don't feel like doing a whole lot of typing. And right, what was Eleos's registry? $59019. Okay, so there are those. Actually, I'll do all this off camera, and once I get that filled in and everything's pretty, I will send this to Michael Dismuke and the wonderful people at Continuing Mission so that we'll have this for posterity. But I am going to say that the class there is done. So let me save this real fast. Okay, so there's the Phoenix. There are those numbers. Now let's get down to the actual ship. We are going to use as the example ship $59019. And it was a notable starship in 2401 is when we're going to find this. So the mission profile that it was using, at this point, I am going to move over from Utopia Planitia to the second edition core rule book. And those rules start on page 192. So we know what time frame we're in. We've already established that. We've established the space frame that we're going to be using. Now, the Phoenix class came about in 2350. 52. And we're looking at the Eleos in 2401, which is 49 years. So she's going to have 4 refits by the time we get to her. So we determine the space frame. The mission profile. Let's take a look at the mission profile. We'll get to refits shortly. Okay, so we are just scrolling casually through. Here's the space frame special rules. Let's skip ahead a little bit to the mission profiles, because we are looking for something specific, and here it is. This is what Beverly Crusher was using the Eleos for: crisis and emergency response. I don't think there's anything more appropriate in either the core rule book or, if we scoot over back to the toolkit for a moment, because this is, I think this is where we're going to settle, crisis and emergency response. But let's take a quick look at the additional mission profiles in the toolkit. Civilian Merchant Marine, no, but that's going to be useful for something else. Colony Support, Logistical Quartermaster, Reserve Fleet, and Technical Testbed. No, none of those are really appropriate to what Beverly was using that ship for. So we are going to move back into the publisher document for just a minute. There's going to be a lot of back and forthing, guys. I am sorry, but crisis and emergency response. And for sake of argument, we're going to say that this was also commissioned in 2352. Refits 4. We'll get to that in a minute, because I'm going to have to do a little bit of modification on my format here to take second edition into account. But we know there's going to be 4 refits. If the poor ship had only survived another year or so, it could have gotten a 5th one. But it was not to be, sad to say. Hit save while I'm thinking about it, because, well, let's fix its traits also while I'm thinking about it. Phoenix class. It's a compact vessel. It's also a civilian starship. Working for the Mariposas organization. And for this, I'm just going to ditch that. It's had a crew complement of 2. Technically it had a crew support of 2, but I don't think we're ever actually going to see that unless they had some holograms aboard, and there was no evidence of them having holograms aboard. so. All right. We know it came stock before any refits. With these stats, comms, computers, and engines at 10, 9, 8, and 6. Alright. Now we know its scale is 2. We know its tractor beam is strength 1. We know it's going to have three talents. Oops. All right. Special rules. Compact vessel. All right. I know it's going to have a phaser array. We'll correct this momentarily. We'll fix its shields and its resistance momentarily. All right, let's go back and take a look at the mission profiles. Let's get back into the right book. Crisis and emergency response. Command and con are both 2. Security's 2, engineering's 1, science is 3, and medicine is 2. Okay, so we know that command and con start at 2, but they both get +1, so that's a 3, and that's a 3. Security is a 2. Engineering starts at a 1, but it's also got a +1, so it's a 2. Science is 3, and medicine is 2. So there are those numbers. Now, let's get back into the process here. We'll get to this in a minute. But, since it is a medical ship, and we know that there did not appear to be any holograms, and we know that it can't have shuttle bays because of its compact vessel, we're going to make sure that we put advanced sickbay, and we need to increase its sensors by 1 because of the rules for mission profiles in 2nd edition. So let's fix that. So its sensors get bumped to a 10. Tough little ship from, certain aspects. Don't know what the second talent is going to be, but we do know it's going to have advanced sick bay. Got the time frame, got the space frame, we got the mission profile. Do we want to give it a service record? Let's take a look. Let's go to page 216 and take a look at the service records. Okay, we got aging relic, we got dependable workhorse, we got legendary, hope ship, prototype, survivor of such and such a battle. Hope ship. The vessel's service has been spent responding to distress calls and disasters. You know, while I think this would fit, I'm not sure of the whole story of the Eleos, so I think I'm going to skip this. Service record is kind of an optional thing, so I think I'm going to skip the service record for right now. Refits. A refit adds 1 point to a single ship's system. So this is going to have 4 refits. Let's take a look back at our ship sheet here and let us figure out you can't have more than 2 in any particular system. So let's bump that structure up, because as Beverly herself put it in one episode, a lot has happened over the past few years. So there's 2 of them. Probably upgraded the computer at least once, so we'll call it Computers 11. And she took that ship into some tough spaces sometimes, so I'm gonna go out on the edge here and say we're gonna upgrade her weapons. It's still not the ship's strong suit, but she's had to deal with some stuff. All right. So there are our refits. Okay, so as we do this some more, we are going to need to put it all together. We got our traits, we got our systems, we got our departments. Talents should have a number of talents equal to its scale. Nothing comes from the Spaceframe in this case, one of them must come from the mission profile, which we have. We have put advanced sickbay on there. All right, so let's take a quick look at this. Resistance. Half its scale plus a bonus based on its structure, which we know to be a 10. So let's look at page 185. Scale, structure 9 or 10, plus 2. So its total resistance is a 3. So, get back in there. Its resistance is 3. And get back to where we were. All right, resistance. A ship's resistance is equal to half its scale. That's done. Shields. Maximum shields equal to its structure plus its scale and security. Talents may modify this further. Okay, dokie. And once more back into this. Its structure is 10. Its scale is 2, so that's 12. Its security is 2, so its shields are 14. Now it talks about talents. Let's figure out what the other talent for the Eleos is going to be before we get back to some of this other stuff. Talents can be found starting on page 218. So let's go and look through. Blade of armor, no. Adaptable energy weapons, nah. Adaptive shield modulation, no. Emergency crew holograms, no. No, I don't think so. We've already got advanced sickbay. Now this is a problem. We may need to go back and fiddle with things a little bit, because one of the requirements for advanced sickbay is medicine 3, and this ship doesn't have that. All right, so let's go back and tweak a couple of things, because I think we have to. And that is going to require us to get back into the actual frame, where we said there wasn't a bonus to medicine. Now, as much as I like the idea of a bonus to command, because of the automation systems, it's not really a requirement. So let's put that +1 instead of command into medicine. And then let's get back into this ship, and let's take that +1 out of command, put that back to 2, and bump our medicine to 3. Okay, there we go. Now we meet the requirements of the talent. And that was not nearly as traumatic as I feared it might be. Okay, advanced shields, advanced transporters, advanced sensor suites, automated defenses. It's a great idea, but we've only got a security department of 2. So we don't qualify for automated defenses. No, it doesn't have a cloaking device. It's not a command ship. Now here's something. Expanded emergency medical facilities. Well, this could be interesting. Let's put a pin in that. Expanded emergency medical facilities, because they... Oh, extensive automation. Oh, wow. Okay. Here we go. I think this is the one. Extensive automation. Do we have the computers for that? I'm pretty sure we got computers of 11 on this bad boy. He says, looking at his notes, extensive automation. It's configured to operate on a much smaller crew, relying on automation to handle tasks normally performed by personnel. The ship's crew support is reduced to half its normal value. The ship may attempt tasks by itself. All right, this is the one, because she had this thing kitted out. She was telling the ship to do all sorts of things, and it was doing a lot of them. So let's get back into this here, and we're going to call that extensive automation. Her crew support is reduced by half. So crew support of 1. All right. So there are her talents. I'm liking where this is going. I really am. Let's get back to looking at the process and make sure we're not missing things. Help if we typed it all correctly. Okay. Talents, done. Scale, resistance, crew support. We just modified that by the ship talents. Weapons. Ship's weapons are determined by its space frame. I've got a phaser array and a tractor beam. The damage weapons inflict is increased based on the ship's weapons score, plus additional factors. Starship weapons start on page 226. So let us get to page 226. Okay, so with its weapons rating of 7, it's going to get a +1 to any weapons damage. So let's find... We know all it's got is a phaser array, so it's going to be an energy weapon. So we know that type. The range, I'm sure, will be in this table that's coming up. Here we go. Energy weapons. Types of energy weapons. Phasers. Energy weapon delivery systems. Now, phaser has versatile too. An array gives area or spread. Medium, the damage is the ship's scale. Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I need to find, since I don't know the copy that, we'll edit it later. But I don't know the format as well as I know first edition yet. I'm still learning. I hope you understand. So let's get back to this. We'll double check that. We're going to just copy this stat line. What did I do? Oh, I minimized something. That was not super. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're back. Good deal. Okay, let's get back into this. Okay, so it's an energy weapon, it's medium, it's damage. Okay, let's get back into the... Oh, we're almost done, folks, and then we can stop the back and forthing for the rest of the video. Okay. Okay, so its weapons rating of 7 gives it a +1. Alright, so let's get back down into this. I was right the first time. Phasers have a versatile 2, which we copied over. We know that's got versatile 2. Phaser arrays, the damage is the ship's scale. So it's a scale 2. With the extra weapons, it's going to be a 3. With area or spread, which I'm pretty sure was copied over from the... Why do I keep doing that? So yes, the damage is 3. Versatile 2, we copied over. Array, area or spread. Okay, guys, I think we're done. I mean, with the basic stats, I've still got to fill out this, and I got to find an actual decent picture of the Eleos to put here. I'd love to find an ortho view, but I don't know if I'll be able to. But, and you know, I've obviously got to fit that in. But the stats, I'm fairly certain that we've got the stats weapons, bridge layout. I'm not 100% worried about this right now because it's not really in the stat blocks. It's a great thing to discuss with uh, your players in session 0, how the bridge is going to be arranged. Let's see. But we've got all the finishing touches. Guys, the ship... The ship's done. SS Eleos XII, NAR 59019. I'll have a good picture in here when I send this to Michael. There's her mission profile when she was commissioned, her refits, her traits, her crew complement, her crew support, all of her systems, all of her departments, scale, resistance, shields, weapons, such as they are, her talents, her special rules. Alright, I am going to hit save, and I am going to call this done. Ladies and gentlemen, oh my gosh, it took way longer than I thought it was going to, but we did it. We're done. We've got a ship, we've got a space frame. Next video, I'm going to be working on some 32nd century stuff, more space frames, but those are I'm just going to be working on space frames for those, to get those designed. And in the meantime, I thank you so much for tuning into this. I appreciate your patience with me as I get this worked out. I hope you enjoy this little mini series I am going to be putting out. I will be sharing it with all of you, of course, as we go along. But until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, live long and prosper. I'll get used to this camera thing yet. I've only been doing this for a few years now. But I thank you. Please do all the YouTube things. Tell your friends, and I will catch you on the next one. Good night, guys.